number 5. Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. What are the, quote, other options that the Prime Minister referred to in order to reach his government's surplus target for 2014-15, and do they include cutting funding for any existing programs?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, as the Prime Minister actually said, there may be other options we choose to take. We'll have to wait and see what the final HAIFU numbers look like. Whichever way they turn out, they will just be the latest forecasts. We will know the actual result after the accounts close later next year when the government's annual financial statements are published. I can reassure the member, as I did in a speech last week, the government has a track record of sticking to our spending plans, particularly to protect the most vulnerable and to provide certainty for public services. We won't be changing that approach.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Is it correct that the forecasts for the economy for the rest of this financial year do not show any sign of the $5 billion hole created by lower commodity prices being filled by growth in other parts of the economy?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, no, I don't think you can confirm that at all. We'll have to wait until the HAIFU numbers come out. Other parts of the economy have been growing significantly strongly, but there's no doubt there'll be some impact as a result of the change of dairy prices.
Supplementary question, Mr.
Supplementary
Speaker.
question, Grant Robertson.
Why would he have confidence that there would be a surplus coming from other export products to fill the $5 billion hole in his books when today's Statistics New Zealand figures show a 5% fall in exports across the board? Always got a note from Tim.
Order. Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, I think the member's confusing income to the dairy sector with income to the government's books. There is no $5 billion hole in the government's books. Now, it's important for Mr. Robertson to understand this, because he is new to finance, that just because a certain industry doesn't achieve a certain amount of income doesn't mean the government's books don't achieve exactly the same amount of it. The government isn't the country, even though I know Mr. Robertson would like to make the government the country.
Excitement.
Order. Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
This will make for a good answer. Will he guarantee that a surplus will not be manufactured by artificially hiking ACC premiums or hiding expenditure for roading projects through loans, as he did in this year's budget?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
On behalf of the Minister of Finance, I'm sorry, there appears to have been a leak over here. I just wonder whether Phil Goff's been over, but I don't think he has been. Mr. Speaker, I can assure the member that when the HAIFU comes out, we'll see what the numbers look like. But again, I tell him he is to be aware that projections don't always come true in terms of the final outcome. There has been, for example, projections over the last year that Grant Robertson would be the leader of the Labor Party, and that didn't work out very well.
Order.
Well, no, the surplus is on the desk now.
Order. Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Isn't the truth that his failure over 6 years to diversify the economy, grow exports or discourage housing speculation means that the real surplus has dissolved and any budget surplus will only result from another attempt at cooking the books just like this year?
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry, that's a little rich coming from the guy that's known as the walking ATM, when he's actually prepared to hand out money to anybody that asks for any policy proposal and has opposed every cut in government spending over the last 6 years. To turn around and say this government is not fiscally responsible is truly unbelievable from Mr. Robertson.
Question